Well, hello everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut with Brian Galke, and we are Aces53. A few minutes late because always something wrong with my camera or something.
It happens.
It was working an hour ago, and then all of a sudden it's like I ain't working anymore. All right, we've been gone for a week because I was gone for a week.
Right? We ended up
You were
meeting up in
gone for a week.
Vegas.
Yeah, I was in Vegas. It was my 20th anniversary, so we renewed our vows and then went to the Grand Canyon. Saw you on Monday. Not, that was good to see you. And then, supposed to see Courtney, but he was already in his onesie. That's right. I keep saying that on every one of my shows just to get back at him for not showing up even Tuesday night. Oh, it's election night. I can't come out.
Boo. That's weird. It didn't go live on Instagram. I have to repost it later.
Mine did.
Yeah, I went and changed it. Oh, well.
What are you going to do?
Yeah,
things happen. There's always something going on with these things. All right. So once I got back, actually, while I was there, I was focusing on, I found out that started generating images with ChatGPT.
Right.
And it's easier on your phone. I found that version of it, and it's amazing what it has created. And I mean, if you look at any of my posts on social media right now, that's a standard. I do it 3 times a day now. Those are all created by ChatGPT, the actual pictures.
Interesting.
Yeah, because what I did is, I don't know, do we want to keep going, or should I just jump into it because I'm already here?
No, go for it.
So I focus. So one of the things that I've been really looking at is, as much as I tell everybody else who is your perfect customer, are you now talking to your perfect customer? And I noticed that I hadn't been. The 3 people that I focus on more than anybody else is reverse mortgages, veterans, and business owners. So I went to ChatGPT and created a whole program just for all of those people. And then I told it to create social. Oh, that's what I wanted to bring up today. So if you got something real quick, let me find this real quick.
I'll talk about why I was there. There was a podcast I got invited to. So Tamara Thompson has one called Broadcast Your Authority. And it was actually cool. I'd never been into the Sirius XM studios there at the Wynn Hotel. And
they actually have a studio there.
Yeah, they have a studio that people can rent out. And so we were there for a couple. She had it 2 days in a row from 9 to 3, I think. And then at night there were like sports commenters and other people like that. So it's actually a really cool thing. Hey, let's see.
Hey, what?
Chip, sorry, I just got a note about. I should notice it this morning. Crap. Okay, I may have to go here in a second too.
Why? If someone kicked you out?
No. Text from school. Anyway, so it's the XM Studios in the Wynn Hotel, and the cool thing about it was that, like I said, you get to rent out the space, professional quality. They had photographers and everything done, and that's what she does. Is she comes in and does batch podcasts. And it was the first time I've ever been on one where it's got multiple people who interview. So you get interviewed almost like you're interviewing for a job, but it's the podcast. So there were 4 hosts, or the host and 3 co-hosts, however you want to do the mathematical formula of it. But it's really cool to have it there in the casino. And I haven't really stayed at Wynn very much. So I stayed over at Resort World across the way because I'm a Hilton whore and I wanted my points.
Of course, doesn't everybody?
Yeah. But it was a cool hotel, really cool experience to go out there. Met some neat people, because that's my whole thing is I wasn't on until 2:00 in the afternoon, but I went at 10 in the morning because I wanted to meet the other people who are being interviewed. I want to watch their podcast, learn about them. And that's what I'm finding is not a lot of people do that. People come in for their event and then they take off. And I just don't think that's the right way to do things.
All right. So I don't think so either, but what are you going to do? All right. So I came across an Instagram post that someone said they were listening to somebody else going, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." So to put together stuff for your clients that you need to talk to, you go to ChatGPT and you put this in. Have you seen this? I'll put it on the screen. If you want to do some, I want you to do some research for me. Act as an expert Instagram social media marketer. You can say whatever you want in there. Tell me 10 frustrations, 10 desires, 10 fears and you put in where I have business owners, whatever your market is, right? Experience with getting and then with experience getting whatever that frustration is, right? So mine was a mortgage. And then you put in a table format, label x-axis 1 through 10 and y-axis frustrations, desires, and fears. Then create, and so it does this, right? But I added one more thing. Then create 30 days of social media contact from this list content.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I use to create posts. And then what I would tell you, so I use Go High Level now.
Yeah.
And so I put those in there and I have them so no one sees everything you post, right? 1% of your people, unless you boost it, even then 10%. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's have it redone for the next 30 days, right? So if I'm doing it on the first, it'll be on the first again, the same post for 2 years.
That's awesome.
What was that, right?
Sorry. I was listening for the 2 years part. Sorry, my computer.
So what I'm getting is you can do whatever. I just got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I bet you nobody's going to say, "Hey, I saw that post again." No one. I mean, and so I'm like, and it's the frustrations that you do. So you could have said 60 days, 90 days of social media content, and then you create it and put everything. Another thing I did with ChatGPT was I started. Okay, I did this. So I'm going to go show it. You mind if I share my screen?
No, go for it.
I just thought this was very unique because we are relying on other people to do stuff for us. Whatever for a week. Let's see, window, entire screen. There it is. That screen share. It's pretty small, I'm sure. So let's see if I can make it any bigger. So all right, so I did what I said, right? So you change out this part with right whatever you're doing, because I also did it with I did in this business part. I did this with people getting reverse mortgages, and so I did it for reverse mortgages. I did it for business owners, and I also did it for veterans. And then so then it created the 1 through 10 frustrations for me. Actually, let me jump over to the reverse because it was better. I'm sorry, I kept messing around with all this stuff and go back to the top. All right, so I did it here, as you can see, again, reverse mortgage prospects experience with their reverse mortgage, trying to get it right. And so here's the chart. Let me get rid of that extension thing. Thank you. And you can see the chart it did, right? You have your frustrations, desires, and fears. So the complex, confusing, financial freedom, desires, and fears. So it did all that, 10 of them. And then I told it to do 30 days of content. And then it broke it down in 30 days of content for me. And then I said, okay, let's go a little bit more than this. Let's expand complete post, right? Help me with, and so now I did this. What is reverse mortgage? Blah, blah, blah. And then I asked it after I did all this, was posting it. I said, hey, what am I going to do for my pictures? Let's see if it shows up. Oh, actually, it might not show up here. And then I said I wanted to do 5 myths into a video, and it did those two. But I'm going to get there. Don't worry. I was playing with this.
I'm watching.
Let me get down there. How do I, myth 1, lose my home? Because I asked when I had a client recently, and I'm like, what was the biggest thing about doing this that you were questions about? And they were like, we thought we lost our house. We didn't own it anymore. And then there was family debt. So, I mean, it's amazing what you can do with this. And I was like, well, ChatGPT has been around forever. I know, but we don't use it enough.
Right.
I'm trying to see if I can get down to the damn picture. Sorry.
I saw it a second ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of, I'm like, I don't like that. Right. Because what it does, it doesn't spell out stuff properly. You have to be careful with what you ask it to do.
Right.
And then let's see if I can get down. I'll get there. You can tell I worked on this I was playing with it, walking around with my wife at different places. Okay. It's not there.
Yeah. And well, to tell people how you're walking and doing it, there's the voice version now. If people don't know it, you can talk into it just like you're talking to Siri or Alexa. It's really interesting where things are right now.
Oh, I didn't talk to it. I typed it because I'm old school. Let's see if I can see.
You didn't have to say the school part.
All right. See, there's one. So see one of my pictures that created for the veterans.
Nice.
And then this one. Look at it.
That's cool.
Chart ones doesn't work well, but it's the stuff that it created. So if you look at any of my posts, I can make it smaller. Right now it's so big. That's what she said. Let's drop this down.
Gotcha.
So it's just amazing the pictures that you see, like this. Look at that. That's freaking amazing that you can do with ChatGPT that people don't realize. And so I did. So all my social media posted that way. And then I'm doing a veteran course, and it created that logo for me.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, that was one of them, but this is the first one. This is the one I'm going with. I just got to fix the bottom part.
Now, okay, so I had brother military, brother in Air Force. Does that look like it leans to any one particular branch or no?
Well, this is pod veteran, which just means I'm a podcast veteran. Right. And it's helping people podcast better.
Yeah.
It's just, no, that doesn't, you got wings there, but we all have planes. We all have aircraft.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what I was curious
they could say that about my hat because it looks more Navy, but no one really cares.
I'm with you.
But I was, I'm trying to find a different name because that's what I am. I'm not only have I been podcasting forever and I'm a veteran of podcasting, I'm also a veteran that is a play on words. So this is for my courses because I'm putting together the veteran, the courses for how to be a better podcaster, all that kind of stuff. And I needed some type of stuff. And it's again, I didn't use VA. I didn't use certain things to do this. Now I'll use one of them to clean it up because the bottom, one thing it does do is it messes it up at the bottom there always.
I saw that. I didn't want to point it out, but yes.
No, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Now I can take this and go, this is exactly what I want. Please recreate it and change the words at the bottom. So I still will use somebody to create it or create it.
Yeah. But you can go to Fiverr and just say, finalize it versus create it for me.
Right. They can edit it. They can take it apart and do whatever they want to do. And I'm just saying there's so much you can do now by yourself. I mean, that it's over here, aren't I? Too many screens. So this is another one, say creating better podcasters, right? But then it does it again, creating better podcasters, right?
Yeah.
This is okay, right? This is not as good as the first one. And then I said, I want it exactly like the first one to say this. Well, it did it, but look what it did here. It added this other stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's again, there's so many other programs out there that could do it, but this is just one of the things. So this is what I've been playing around with.
Well, go back to that for a second because you're familiar with it and you talked about it can do images, but where did you go within the software to show people how to create an image?
It was on my phone. So
that's right.
It's more difficult on here.
Yeah.
Sometimes it fights you on the desktop. Like I was playing with it yesterday for something else. The business one. When I was doing the business mortgage one, let's see if it takes us. See the more. See, it's just amazing how to do stuff. But what happened was it was instead of doing the pictures that I wanted it to do, it was trying to give me charts.
Oh, I got you.
And I'm like, why are you doing this? And again, but I'm freaking amazed because you own these, by the way.
And it used to be that you had to go to disparate systems, right? So I don't remember what the names of them all were, but there was different software you went to do images.
No, it's still ChatGPT.
Right, but remember before that you really had them in here, you had to go to the third-party ones. I'm
right, and they're still out there, and there's still a bunch of them. But I was shocked. I was just walking around the other day with my phone, and I'm like, "What about because I'm putting together a reverse mortgage webinar. I'm putting together a bunch of different things, and then I'd be like to have an image, but I don't want to worry about paying somebody for an image or this or that. And let's see if I can create it, and it does. I mean, if you don't. A lot of them aren't going to be perfect, but if you look at a lot of the images that are created by people, they have a little extra stuff in them that aren't perfect anyway.
Yeah. Like you said, it gets 95% of it there. You just have somebody finalize it. We talked about
something like this for a social media post. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a logo or certain things, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to get your idea on paper. And then you can then go, okay, this is what I want. So you don't spend $5,000 for him to create all these different ones. You just go, this is what exactly I want. Just recreate. Well, I don't know if I can. Well, get close.
Well, and they just released, I don't know if you got into the beta. I did not. Now there's ChatGPT search, which is trying to displace Google.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They launched that a week or two ago.
And then the other thing that is, I'm sorry, let you finish.
No, you're good.
Sorry,
No, I was just saying they released that a week or two ago.
So one of the biggest things that we talked about a lot is lead magnets, because I realized how many people I was having come in my website was not signing up for stuff. And you need to have lead magnets on there so that they'll sign up for, your newsletters or other stuff, and not just say, "Hey, we want to be part of my newsletter." No, I mean, nobody signs up for a newsletter.
Right.
And one of the guys I know, that he has created this whole online stuff, and he's like, "I'm trying to get people to sign up, so I'm having them sign up for my newsletter." I go, "That's not a great lead magnet. That's not going to do anything." But if you look at all the companies out there are offering you every time you come to a different store or whatever, because their list is more important than social media.
Yeah.
Your email list is way more important than social media, because we don't get the views that we used to get unless you pay for them. So you want to get everybody on your list so that you can hit them up easier and better. And so I'm like, why don't you create a lead magnet? And, this lead magnet would get them to sign up, or offer them 10% off their first order to get their emails and stuff. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to buy.
Yeah.
On their first time there. So there's so many things you can do. And the more I'm getting into this, the more I'm like, okay, is this like how I was when I was doing direct mail? I knew how to do it. I told everybody how to do it, but then I created it. But then I was like, okay, this is kind of what I'm doing now that we have Go High Level, and it's really not that crazy to do stuff. What I told you, I think yesterday or today, I told you that
you ported over.
I wanted my website moved over from WP Engine, because you know how expensive they are, over to High Level, since they now have their WordPress site underneath it, and they use the top fastest company out there. I'm like, okay, how do I move it? And I talked to somebody. I wanted a couple funnels made and move my website, and they wanted $8,000. I'm like, you're freaking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, even if they would have said $5,000, no, you're crazy. You're not rebuilding my website. You're moving from one hosting to another, and then you're going into Go High Level and grabbing a template and changing the words on it for me, and you want to charge me $8,000.
Well, that's what I was looking. That same person sent out an email the other day, and it was the same thing that when they sent me a text, I'm like, this is salesy. And they're like, no, I'm not trying to sell. And then they sent out an invite for a webinar, and it was the exact same text they texted me. I'm like, this is what I was telling you. If you're going to copy and paste and you're not going to learn to personalize, people are going to ignore you.
Yeah, I mean, because you can get ChatGPT to personalize it for you.
That's exactly it.
There's no reason. And so how hard was it? Well, I had a huge site. So in normal, if you do with Go High Level to move a WordPress site, they'll allow you to go up to 2 gigabytes. Well, mine was 4. So there's a little thing you can so you go and you do all-in-one web. I forget what it's called. All-in-one something to move it. I forget the name. Sorry. I'm tired. I've been working. And then you get it from your current site and you export it, and then you bring it in. And if it's under 2 gigabytes, you can just drop it into the WordPress underneath there, and it will actually migrate the whole thing for you easy. If it's bigger than that, they have to put that same unlimited I can't even think today. Sorry, I would log in. But anyway, it's all-in-one migration, but it has a regular one and then an unlimited one. The unlimited one will allow you to do any size, and that's what I had to do. And then I had to move the domain, which is not a big deal. But my website's working perfect. Everything was like right. I was like, you got to be kidding me. It works just like that easy.
Yeah. Well, you and I talked about before, there was a company I was paying that I said, hey, I don't think I've been doing my updates and everything else. How much would it cost to do it? And they're like, 15 hours worth of work. And I was on WP Engine before moving over to Go High Level. And when I went, I checked a box and said, okay, it'll back up and update everything. And so now my trust in that company was done. That's why I ended up leaving them, as they were going to charge me 15 hours at $50 an hour for something that was a checkbox.
Right.
And the reason that you're bringing this up and I'm bringing this up is you have to be dangerous enough, but you don't have to do the work. And that's so you're not being taken advantage of. So the same person you talked to who wanted to charge you $8,000 took you 8 minutes of work?
Actually, the time that it took was to back up the website.
Right.
Backing up of the website probably took 5 hours.
Yeah.
So they're charging you for that while they're just sitting there and watching it. And then to actually import it, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And but for me, then I had to like read a bunch of other stuff to see what other steps I have to do, because they don't have this thing out there going, okay, I watched a lot of YouTube videos for it and how to do it. And I was like, oh, that's easy. But then one of the problems is right when it was over, because I didn't use the internal migration.
Yeah.
Right. So there's an internal one through Go High Level that will set up everything for you.
Nice.
If it's done, if you do, that's if that site's smaller.
Yeah.
But because mine are larger, I couldn't use that. So I had to do the rest of it myself. And if you're with GoDaddy, a couple other services, it'll automatically update your DNS records for you instead of you having to go in and doing it. It's just, they've made it so easy for people to do more and faster.
One thing I will say about High Level is the amount of information they put out every week is what makes them successful. You look at their competitors, Salesforce, which I know those are for big corporations, High Level's for small to medium businesses, but I get an email from them every week of some different type of webinar. What Facebook page do you want to go to? You know, they're still riding momentum from the summit that they had 3 weeks ago, where they released 700 new features that were going to be live in 2025. And it's amazing because, to your point, you could go to YouTube and there's enough people using it that put out YouTube videos. If you were trying to upgrade your CRM like Salesforce, you have to hire an expert who's certified in Salesforce, going to charge you $350 an hour, you know, to do it. And that's why corporations, they're trying to decide what are they going to do with these larger CRMs, because then they hire a new employee. Oh, that's another license. Oh, you hire, you know, it gets to be crazy. And that's why small, lean companies like Go High Level have been able to massively grow and do what they do, because they're giving you the option. If you want to do it yourself, here's how you do it. If you want to hire someone, here's some people we recommend. If you want us to do it, we have teams that do it also. They're giving options that the other companies don't. And when we bring this up, it's no different than what I offer. And that is, you can hire me to speak, you can go buy the books, or you can have me coach you. But it's funny because big corporations like Salesforce, like, buy our product and then get charged an absorbent amount to go use it. It's very interesting to see the companies that are leading into the future are the ones who empower you to do. If you want to do it yourself, if you don't want to buy it from us and have us do it, here's the people that we recommend, or let us do it for you.
Right. There's even companies out, because it's getting the whole thing's getting so many people that are it's $650 for, unlimited websites and other stuff creation, word funnels. And there's level 9 or something like that. That is about $1,000 for 20 hours a month. There's so many different ones who offer you a pod that if you are just doing it yourself and you go, you know what, I need this website updated or moved over and whatever, it's inexpensive, because I know all the agencies are using companies like this to build their agencies and acting like they're doing it.
Right.
And they're making the money. You got to go?
No, I just got to stand up. I was tired of sitting.
You're ready to get out of here, I see.
No, I was sitting. My back was starting to hurt. I thought, I'll go back to standing.
But what I'm getting at is, you have knowledge that is sellable, and there's such easy ways to get that out there, because that's what I'm doing right now. I was the worst at it, because I'm like, who wants to know what I do? But even when just looking today, I was looking at a website for this podcast, for my podcast veteran thing, Pod Veteran, and it was like, wow, boom, boom, got to change a little few things here. It was perfect. I'm going to change the colors and a few things. That's perfect, and it's already created. Well, then they had another. So there's a difference between a website and saying how great I am, and a website that's all about lead funnel, right?
Yes.
And they now they have one that I just saw for a mortgage company. I'm like, okay, I really like that. I'm going to do that for my lending for living, instead of where it's at right now that I'm paying so much a month for them to do it. I'm going to bring it under High Level and do one of those.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so easy. I understand people don't, the harder you make it seem, the more you can charge.
Well, there are certain things. Plumbers, electricians, they're paying for the vast knowledge of what they are doing. And it's worth it, because no matter what, if you try and fix a broken toilet or anything like that yourself, you're like, okay, I'll pay someone. But it goes back to, if you can do something and you're truly charging what you're worth, that's one thing. If you're overcharging because people have ignorance and then they get educated, you're blowing your business model away. You're going to make temporary good money, but more people are never going to refer you. So that's going to cost you in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't. You have to be in the middle of the road.
Yes.
You don't want to be the cheapest. You don't want to be the most expensive. You want to be in the middle of the road. But the problem is some of these guys they're so used to so many years of nobody knowing how to do this, and they're the only ones, and so they could charge whatever they charge.
Correct.
And that's coming to an end.
Yeah, and it all depends. What are you charging for? Are you going for ongoing maintenance? Like you can call people. Is it a one-time move? That's the whole thing. We were talking about this on a different podcast. A lot of people now are doing equity work and saying, hey, look, if you don't have the money, let me help you grow something. Let me help you run your webinar. Let me help you run all these things, and doing rev share, because that's another way to go, hey, don't pay me. Let's earn together. And it's interesting because, we know several people who are speakers, and some people are very anti-speaker agencies. Well, I don't want to give somebody 30% of my fee. But if they're bringing you business that you didn't know about, then you're making 70% of what you didn't have before.
Right. They call that 70% of something, then 100% of nothing.
Exactly.
That's how that's phrased, by the way.
Right. So,
I mean, but that's how people are. I don't want to give away so much. What are you going to do? I mean, there's so much you can do and so much you can get out there, because you need to better yourself. You need to become an authority in your industry. You have to get this stuff out there so people know what you do, and you need alternative sources of income, so you're not stuck with one income always. Because as a speaker, if you're not selling your courses, you're limited by what's on stages. And if you have people coming to your website and they're not signing up, because you only have one or two different lead magnets, you need to have more of them. Correct. And I have a pop-up now that has like 5 or 6 things you can put on there for multiple different lead magnets. And that's what I'm going to do, because I have different people come to me. And I even asked, so I'm real adamant about, okay, so I told ChatGPT, scan my first page and tell me if you know who my perfect client is. And it came back and said, this is the knowledge that you're putting out there. I said, what would you recommend I change? And it told me what I need to change. It's not a lot. It's just a couple little things. Sure. And that's what I'm going to work on. But what I'm getting at is, you now have something that's so smart, and you tell it where to look, what to look at, and what to do. And now I tell it to do this. Because I think I told you, but I wanted a certain workout program, and I've been lifting forever. And so there's 3 people that wrote books that I really like what they do. And then I had 2 podcast people that I really like them, Huberman, and then the other guy, Andy. I said, use these 3 book authors and these 2 podcast hosts. Now create a workout and ask me the questions of what I'm looking to do. Yeah. And so it did that, and it created an amazing workout.
Awesome.
Yeah. So and my wife had done it before me. She was like, a running one. And I'm like, that, but you got to tell it what to look for,
right?
And who you want to be.
Well, it's a electronic consultant that has the knowledge of the masses that can help you with information, but you still got to learn how to ask it the right questions. The more information you feed it, the better the answers you're going to get back from it for your questions. So to your point, you can just say, I'm Ed Parcaut, I'm this age, I'm this weight, I'm this height, make me a workout. No, you said, these are the sources I like. So you have to give it more information to get the better responses back. And that's where, we talked about this before. AI and everything, it can replace so many different things. That's why branding is going to be more and more important. As people are starting to figure this out, you've got to figure out, how can I stand out? So we're lucky, people that are older in age are lucky that they are locked into companies, but they're not necessarily safe. But kids coming out of school that don't have real world experience doing things, they're going to be in for a world of hurt. So they need to be learning soft skills. They need to be learning branding, how to stand out. Because if they don't have the experience and they just have the educational knowledge, well, AI has that.
Well, the other thing I didn't tell you I did is I set up the voice AI of Go High Level.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about, right? The thing you saw at the event. Yeah. So it's available now, and I set it up for my high level number. If I miss it, it goes to that. And I'm telling you, you listen to all the different voices. There's 2 that are so close that you can't tell I can't tell I can still tell, but the average person will not be. No. And I did mine, and the prompt inside of it because I watched a couple of different videos, and they had created different ones, and they go, if you become part of our things, you get this prompt, you just copy and paste it. I'm like, well, thanks for posting it on the screen so I can take pictures of it. And then I took it and dropped it into Chat GPT, and I expanded it, and I said, also now go grab my book, go grab my website, and add those questions that it can be asked and it can answer. And so and put this into this prompt, and I did that. And so if you ask it a question about rate, it'll give you a quick answer, but say, let's get you to the experts and get that information to you.
Right.
And so that's what I wanted. I didn't want, and then if somebody's upset, it's like, I'm going to transfer you to the manager. Hold on, please leave a message. If they don't pick up, I will be texting them at the same time so that they can get back to you. It's just, again, it's going to be limited by what you tell it and teach it and do everything.
It's amazing to me what all's out there.
So. Oh, by the way, I finished my VA book, by the way.
Nice. I need to work on
my next thing is going to be getting it up to Amazon and then returning it to auto. Oh, that other thing I'm working on is through Designer with 2 R's. They do ebooks, and then you also can do your audiobook through that. You'll take it and they'll save it, and so you can upload it to Audible and everywhere else.
Nice.
It's amazing the stuff that's happening to make it easier for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been a little busy last few weeks because everybody's like, we're not doing anything until after election.
Right. Well, it always comes into that time of year, it doesn't anyway, because people have the holidays coming up. They've got people coming in. They don't want to get their house ready.
I know, but still, usually there's still business going on because December is the best month to buy for any buyer, because there's 7 days. That's the best days in the whole. There's 10 days that are the best days in a year, and 7 of them are in December.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. I need to run for a little bit. So I'll take us out here. So
thank you.
Yes. Hey, everybody. Thank you once again for joining Aces53 with Ed Parcaut and myself. So on days like today, a Tuesday, it's just Ed and I having more coffee for sure. Just Ed and I having conversations, sharing skills. This week, we're probably going to be just Ed and I again because we weren't here last week. But the following Thursdays, we always have what we call the Joker. That's a special someone who has a skill or talent that we think you guys would benefit from. So the best way to support us is to share it with a friend, subscribe, like, all the good stuff. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. Thanks, Ed.
All right. Thanks for here, Brian. Appreciate you. Make it a great day.